robbery. Hands in the sky if you got a dream. Learn nothing was blocking me. I was the problem, the only one stopping me. I didn't like it, I had to refocus. Now I'm devoted, I know where I'm going. Controlling emotions, I'm owning the moment. In order to get it, see, you gotta want it. If I make a living break, confessions over these 808s. Don't sleep on the key, better stay away. I mean, for heaven's sake, I'ma be the best. Came from the endless, lane walk games, bitch you with the chest. Beating on my chest, trying to get my rest. Watch me while I flex. Every win is a blessing, and every L is a lesson. So when I run into rejection, I know it's only redirection. I see the blessings right beside me, and chances of quitting are likely. I do it like I'm in my Nikes. Don't make excuses, they never excite me. Quitting was never an option.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to a Thursday Night Thunder edition of the Online Speedway Racing League Premier Series from the historic Richmond Raceway for the River City 150. I'm Hunter Brittle. Alongside me is my good friend Elliot Henderson, bringing you all the action live on split-second broadcasting. OSRL comes to a short track for the second time this season. Elliot, how can we expect this race to be different from Kern County 2 weeks ago?
Well, I'm honestly hoping it's kind of not. We had a lot of action. We're at Kern, and got to see some really good racing, some differing strategies, and a little bit of a mess towards the end, but with some yellows. But overall, really good racing. So I'm hoping to see a lot of the same. I think what we are going to see the same of is that 20 car, very prevalent. Already starting on pole, Kendall Carpenter, and this time Jack Painter with a little bit of a better start as well, up in third, and Ryan Vargas starting second. I think you're going to see a good bit of what you saw at Kern, just some really hard racing from these guys.
Absolutely. I have taken 2 weeks off. I took a little bit of a break. I come back expecting a little bit different faces here, and once again that 20 car of Kendall Carpenter has found his way to the front. We haven't even started this event, so look for that orange number 20 to be rocking around this racetrack from the lead all night long. Now's a good time to bring in our pit reporter. Aiden DuPont will be down on the in the virtual pits with an ear to the ground for the in-race chat to keep an ear out for all the goings on over the airwaves between these different drivers throughout the night. Aiden, what can you expect from this event, and what's the chatter like going on down there in pre-race?
Well, it is short track racing. I expect a lot of chatter over the radio, whether it's friendly, whether it is angry, we have yet to determine. Just like this track is not a one-to-one comparison to Kern County, but I do expect a lot of action.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think we're going to get a lot of action down here, and we'll keep bringing you back in here when we get those bursts of chatter here, as I'm sure we're going to get all night long in this one. Bringing it back up to the booth, Elliot. This track, 1 mile long. The front straight, or rather the start-finish line, not exactly quite in the center of the front straightaway. There, it's a little towards the more towards turn 4 here. What can we expect from these guys running the bottom, running the top, multi-roof, one lane? What can we expect to see in this high-powered Gen 4 car?
I'm going to correct you a little bit. 3/4 in length here at Richmond, about 0.75 all the way around, just under a mile. But I've seen interesting things. Obviously, a lot of the times you're going to want to run right along the bottom and really rip the inside. But passing is going to be pretty easy on the top if you can get a bumper out there, because you'll be able to pinch drivers down on exit. Trying to get off the corners really difficult here, especially in these Gen 4 cars. The rear end really starts to lose grip over time, and that just kind of makes you really want to spin out when you get off the corner, as opposed to, in most cases, the vehicle usually gets tight. It's going to depend on how the setup works and how these guys drive tonight, and weather as well as we get later into the evening, and how much this cloud cover kind of changes the track's temperature. But what you're going to see a lot of is guys trying to get to the outside to complete a pass, or just straight up rocketing on the bottom. What you might see is some guys try the outside wall. We've seen it ever so often, where at least in 1 and 2, maybe a lot less in 3 and 4, but guys will actually run all the way up on the outside wall, all the way around, and somehow gain enough momentum to get a big run down the back straightaway and make a dive into turn 3. Look for that to potentially be a factor later on in the run after tires start to go.
Sounds like we're going to have action all over the track from the bottom to the top, and you will see it all here live on Split Second Broadcasting. Elliot, you covered the Kern County race 2 weeks ago. You've seen firsthand this league's performance on short tracks. Do you have a favorite or a pick to win tonight going into this one here in Richmond?
I think Jack Painter was probably the one that I watched the most. Obviously, Josh Chin is back tonight. A little bit of a lower qualifying effort in 8th. He came on really strong at the beginning, but Jack Painter was a guy that I was really staring at throughout that race. We don't have William Schmidt here tonight, third in points, and finished really well at Kern and really well I'm completely blanking where we were at Sebring last week, but I think Jack Painter, if you're gonna watch anyone, is definitely one to watch. Kendall had a lot of speed, but unfortunately couldn't really get the job done over Joe Armstrong, who also unfortunately isn't here. A lot of part-timers back and forth in this series that aren't showing up tonight. But I think Jack Painter is someone, especially in the long run, that you're going to have to keep an eye on. He was really able to keep tires under his car, keep the balance straight, and make up ground as the run went on. Him and Joshua Chin, I think, are your two guys to watch out for.
And we'll definitely be keeping an eye on them all night long here. Pace car is now leading the cars down the back straightaway here. We're getting set to go racing here as the cars will go through pit lane here and see their pit signs and get an idea of where they're going to be pitting. So we're going to take this time to go ahead and run you through the field here. Starting on pole, we mentioned it, Kendall Carpenter. That dominant speed that he showed in the first two races of the season is back. He is starting on pole with Ryan Vargas, noted former Xfinity Series racer, to his outside in that 26 car.
And Jack Painter, the first guy that I mentioned to keep an eye on, starting third, much better starting spot than his previous start at Kern. And Jonathan Oates making his first start, owner of OSRL, going to start tonight from fourth.
Kyle Benson lines up in the third spot. He will have Cole Freilich. We talked about Cole pretty much in all four races this year. He's been a very prominent force in these in this league, and we expect to see more of him tonight. He will start from that sixth position.
Chad Stern starting in P7 with Joshua Chin to his outside. Another one to keep your eye on tonight.
Griff Davis rolls off from the ninth position there in the 96 car with Dante Fergale to his outside in the 10 car.
Gavin Newton, who seems to pull off different strategies pretty much every week, will start in P11 with Henry Kaloof to his outside in 12th.
Nolan Sanford rolls off in the 13th position with Steven Gibson, who is fast in practice here, a little bit weaker qualifying effort than what we thought, but he will roll off from the 14th position. Look for that 21 car to move forward.
Two guys that also started towards the mid-pack and worked their way up there at Kern, Brandon Lindauer and Harry Grindell starting 15th and 16th.
Rounding out your top 20 here, Mo Perry starts from the 17th position, Chris Pervalarkis in the 18th, John Daniels in 19th, and Tristan Baker in the 20th car. As the green flag is out and we are racing here in Richmond, and whoa, Kendall Carpenter gets loose there. He manages to gather it back up here, but he's going to lose a lot of spots as they go down into one. Ryan Vargas will now lead them off of turn 2 and down the back straightaway, but that was a heck of a catch, Elliot, from Kendall Carpenter. Not the way you want to start this one.
Yeah, they're wrecking. Going into 3, I believe that was a 96 that got turned around. It doesn't look like it'll bring out a yellow. It looks like they all get going. I did not have wheel spin on my bingo card. There's the late caution, but I didn't have wheel spin on my bingo card, and I certainly didn't have it for Kendall Carpenter. I'm wondering if maybe he tried a first gear start there. That is something that these guys will try to do. Instead of starting from second, try to get up through the RPMs a little bit quicker, and may have just overcooked himself there. Fortunately, able to keep it straight, keep it going, because it looked like he was going to go down on the grass and lose all of his track position, but rounds himself out in 7th. We're going to go back and watch this wreck real quick.
I really thought that we had lost our pole sitter before we even got to turn 1. That was a heck of a save by Kendall Carpenter to catch that, and he will lose 6 spots in the effort. He falls back to the 6th place position there, right in between the 15 of Cole Freilich and the 93 of Joshua Chin here as we are pulling up the replay of that wreck that you saw. I believe that was Triff Davis in the 96 that we saw. Just a little bit of a self-spin, harmless Michael McDowell at Bristol Dirt-esque spin there but admins were Admins were quick to throw the yellow there, and so we will re-rack them and restack them here. Let's bring in Aiden DuPont, our pit reporter. Aiden, one of the guys saying after that restart, we obviously didn't race for very long. What are you hearing?
Just a lot of confusion. Kendall Carpenter keyed up on the mic and said that he just got loose. He didn't clarify it was a first or second gear start, and I was wondering if there was any contact from behind, but no, he just spun those wheels. We have one car coming down pit road that is the 96 who wrecked right there. Just probably gonna fix his damage and fuel up and get back on out there.
Thank you for that report, Aiden. Yeah, the 96 of Triff Davis is on pit road. You saw it there in the replay, Elliot. It looks like he would have either gotten a little bit of help or tried to help somebody and got on the brake too hard there, which led to that spin.
Yeah, it looks like he drove up on the back of the 31 of Chad Stearns. Richmond is definitely one of those tracks. There's a lot on the service, but one of those tracks where you can overcook the corner or you can go in nice and easy. I believe I was talking about this when we went to Kern about how these guys run short tracks, and it's going to be a thing that's going to happen tonight. There's going to be some guys that are going to attack the track really early, and they're going to attack the corners really hard. And then there's going to be guys that roll out of the throttle going into the corner, and you think Kevin Harvick at Atlanta type style, where they're just going to kind of glide around the corner and try to save some tire that way. And then you're going to have the guys that just attack it. And that was probably your perfect case of the 31's just sitting here taking it easy. He started in the top 10. He's running 7th. He's running 9th right now. But he already lost a couple spots instantly, and he's like, I'm going to just take it easy, save my tires. And, the 96 is like, I'm trying to go place, I'm trying to get going, and just ran over the back of the 31. Unfortunate circumstances, but fortunately, no one really damaged or involved. I believe the 96 is probably just going to get tires, and luckily the 20 didn't cause a big enough stack up on the front with Jack Painter and Kendall Carpenter there to give us a massive crash. So everyone's just going to get to re-rack, restack, and get going here shortly.
That is a product of these double wide starts and restarts. Everybody's all stacked up on top of each other, and the best time to get positions is when you're all right next to each other within striking distance. So you can't blame the guys who want to attack and get all those positions as early as they can. It makes life a lot easier. I feel like it's a lot easier to defend later on than it is to attack and try and pass when you've got those older tires that will absolutely be worn out with the high horsepower in this car here at Richmond. The field has now come to the 1 to green signal, so we will re-rack here like we've been saying. Ryan Vargas elects to pick the top side, Elliot. Interesting choice here.
Wow, I think he just saw what Kendall Carpenter did, and he's like, I'm not going to do that. So they might just be assuming that it's the bottom of the track, might have a little bit less grip than the top. We'll see. We'll see what Jonathan Oates can do, but definitely puts Oates in a really vulnerable spot considering he just saw Carpenter spin the rear tires as the leader. Now he's going to have to jump when Vargas goes, so we'll have to see how easy he gets into that throttle and if there's any wheel spin here and if that might just be a normal thing for the evening.
Pace car makes the hard left onto pit road here. Restart zone comes early here. They're in the zone right now. Green flag is out. Ryan Vargas is away with a shot. We are back racing in Richmond.
And Oates is looking like he's about to clear Kyle Benson here. Kyle Benson's someone we haven't talked about. I don't know that he's made a run yet this season. Got the rookie stripes on the back. This might be his first race. I'll have to go back and look at that at some point. But right here in third, and Vargas cut the nose off of Oates, and Oates wasn't really having it. Vargas almost found his way to the inside wall. Oates to the inside for the lead.
They're going to be side by side there across the line. Give the advantage still to the 26 of Ryan Vargas. He'll elect to take that middle lane while Oates dives down to the bottom. Still going to be side by side. Give the advantage to Ryan Vargas here as they... Yep, Oates will tuck back in line here as they go. And now Oates is now under attack from the 25 of Kyle Benson, who's up high.
And Vargas did it again, but Oates wasn't exactly close enough. And you can see these guys already going to wrap the outside wall. Vargas somewhat did it. Kyle Benson did it in 3 and 4, but it looks like that outside wall is going to be prevalent as we get further on. You can see just how close Oates gets to the middle of the corner, but Vargas able to sneak his way through 1 and 2 as now Kyle Benson under attack from Kendall Carpenter.
Kendall Carpenter looked like he really wanted to take a peek to the inside of Kyle Benson there, but thought better of it. Backs out. He will tuck back into that 4th position here as he goes and looks to the inside once again. And the 25 keeps leaving that door open, Elliot. You gotta think that Carpenter's going to be moving up here soon if he keeps taking a peek like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly a bad thing to do, though. Typically, like I said, if you can pinch the guy down on corner exit, it's really hard to complete that pass on the bottom, and you're really just making them use their rear tires a lot more than I'm sure they want to. So I'm sure it's just, you can see how hard Kyle drives into the corner. It's all probably just part of his game. He's going to say, go ahead, Kendall, shove your nose under there. I'll just clear you on corner exit and keep my spot and keep going. I think there's some guys hitting the wall back there as we watch this battle with Gavin Newton.
That was Gavin Newton in the 48 car who was up in the outside wall there in turn one. Looked like he got a little bit of help from somebody behind him. I didn't quite get a good look at who that was. The number 70 car of Harry Grindell gave him a little bit of a shot and sent him up into that outside wall. Didn't lose too many positions, though. He will come back and try and take the fight back to that number 70 car if he can get back up there. But right now he's got to deal with the 49 of Chris Pervalarkis to his inside there. The 48 and the 49 car duking it out as they come back across the line this time.
Yeah, Harry Grindell is definitely someone that we mentioned a lot on these short tracks. We mentioned him a good bit at Kern. He finds his way up towards the front pretty quickly and finds himself up inside the top 10. Started 16th, has already chalked up 3 spots. Right in front of him is Wesley Person, and he has moved up from 22nd to 12th, 10 positions here in the first 15 laps as we just clock him off here.
It's like I said, the best time to get those positions is when everybody's stacked up early on in these runs, and Wesley Person is taking advantage of that, moving up, like you said, Elliot, 10 positions here already, trying to break himself into the top 10 here as we continue to look at this battle here between the 7 of Wesley and the 70 of Harry Grindell.
And you got to wonder if that's just a case of Wesley just working really hard on the tires, and we'll see him start to fall off. We saw that with a few guys at Kern where they just kind of drove up there and then immediately started to fall backwards. And we'll have to see how the 7 fares right now under attack from Harry Grindell.
These cars continue to be side by side here, and it looks like we're going to get a little bit more action up in the top, up towards the front here. So as these guys get settled out, it looks like they're going to start getting a little more racy as Kendall Carpenter is now to the inside of Kyle Benson here. We talked about it earlier, and now it looks like Benson's going to try and rip that top side and get the run there off of 4. Carpenter can't quite squeeze up in front of him, but gets the advantage when they come across the line, and will have the position when they go off into 1, Elliot.
I don't think Kyle's going to like that. He still kind of got squeezed up into the wall. He was there. The run just takes so long to get there that he didn't really get there until halfway down the front stretch, and Kendall just kept coming up, and it ended up Kyle ended up finding the wall a little bit there. But no harm, no foul to either car as they were closing in on Jonathan Oates, who's starting to lose touch with Ryan Vargas. Vargas about a half second out over Oates. And then you got these 3 rookies lined up, all for second all the way back to 4th here.
And that's that real-life experience coming into play for Ryan Vargas there as he continues to lead here at Richmond. I was wondering when it was going to happen. Obviously, when you get somebody who's got that real-life top-tier racing experience like Ryan Vargas, and you bring him into a sim with no disrespect to the average sim racer, but the average Joe, eventually that top-tier talent's going to come out, Elliot, and I think we might be here witnessing that as Vargas continues to click them off.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this run goes on. Vargas has obviously been at a few races this season and has shown a lot of pace in pretty much all of them, but has also kind of lacked some pace in some races. Sebring wasn't probably a highlight that I'm sure he'd like to revisit, but tonight doing a great job finding a way up front. He was also really aggressive at Daytona and also had some pace at Kern, but tonight really showcasing it.
And the field has all single-filed out for the time being, so we will, Elliot, at this point I want to talk about strategy for the night. You're a big strategy and numbers guy, so I want to get your expert opinion on this. Fuel windows are roughly about 83 laps, so what are we looking here in terms of strategy? Is there an off strategy to be played?
Yeah, I'd have to defer to our pit reporter on exactly how far we can go on fuel if he's found that information out. But a lot of what we saw at Kern was, it was a one-stopper, and they all just kind of ran that one-stopper. There were a couple guys that tried to make it a two-stopper, and it definitely bit them. And tires are going to mean a lot here, but depending on how far they can go on fuel, which I don't think they'll be able to go 75, but they might. If they can, obviously that's the box you're in. You're going to have to stop on 75 or right around there. But if there's a chance that you can run long, we saw it at Kern. The longer you run, the better off you're going to be, especially if you can build that gap, which is what Vargas is not doing right now, as Jonathan Oates is starting to attack him, and Vargas is having to drive really defensive here, driving down to the bottom of the track really, really early and not really exiting high. You can see Jonathan Oates all over the back of him, might peek his way to the outside here soon.
Yeah, Jonathan Oates taking that wider entry there. You can see all the way back to Kendall Carpenter, who's knocking on the door of that third position, and you can see the different entrance and exits here. As now Oates is now looking to the underneath side of the 26 of Ryan Vargas. Won't get there this time, but he's letting him know he's there, Elliot. It's no longer a big old gap that Vargas was pulling away. I think maybe the commentator's curse striking a little bit, but Oates is on the attack now.
Yeah, like I said, you're going to have to save a little bit of tire here and see how this works out. Carpenter has obviously really made those tires work, having to drive his way back up from about that 6th spot after falling out of the top 5 from the start that he had. But right now, looks like Oates has a little bit more of a little bit more pace than what Vargas has. Vargas is starting to even it back out, maybe drive back away.
Vargas continues to click off laps here. Got a little bit. He opens that gap up back to Jonathan Oates to about 3 car lengths there, who is now seriously under fire from the 20 of Kendall Carpenter. I say under fire, but really, Kendall's just been sticking right to his hip pocket there, not letting him get away at all. Trying to have Oates drag him back up to Vargas so he can take the fight back to him, to his front row starting partner there. As we look farther back in the pack here, we've got the 31 of Chad Stearns with the 93 of Joshua Chin for that 9th position here. Those two have been battling. I've been quietly watching them. They've been battling on and off pretty much for the last, we're on lap 29 now, for the last 15 or so laps. These guys have not been able to get away from each other. This is going to be an interesting pairing to watch all night.
Yeah, the mid-pack is always really exciting, especially in this league, when these guys they're all racing on top of each other. Harry Grandel is constantly in a heated battle, it feels like, and you can see all these guys back here racing really hard. That's the 41 of Mo Perry right behind Lee. They're all running right on top of each other, and that's usually how they run all race long. You see the 7 right there, that's Wesley Person. Remember, we talked about him working his way all the way up to 12th. He slipped back to 14th right now. Grandel and Gibson have both gone past, as Oates to the inside of Ryan Vargas, and they're 3 wide back for 4th. Battles all over the place, but Oates is putting the pressure on Vargas as the lights start to come on here at Richmond.
The sun is going down and the heat is getting turned up here as Oates is taking the fight to the 26 of Vargas. Not going to get there this time, but Vargas definitely knows he's there now if he didn't before. Oates on the attack here, starting to open up a little bit of a gap back to Kendall Carpenter, trying to make it a 2-car battle.
I'm really enjoying this. These guys, we've pretty much got comers and goers with these tires. I'm not sure if it's guys saving, guys trying different lines, or the fact that the track's changing so much. Obviously, during that little daytime sprint with about 25 laps or so in full sun and the lights being off and everything, Vargas was lights out gone, and now all of a sudden the lights have all come on and Vargas is slipping back. Oates is all over him, but now Carpenter's slipping back, and Oates seems to be the guy in charge here. And even back behind where Kyle Benson and Jack Painter are, Jack was all over Benson, and Benson was slipping back, and now Painter's under real pressure from Cole Freilich, and there's just a lot going on in this top 5 as now Vargas trying all the way at the top. Oates, big run off of 4.
Boy, if we could split screen, we absolutely would. Battles all over the track, but the predominant one is for the lead. Jonathan Oates to the inside that wheels that Jordan number 73 to the inside of Ryan Vargas. Not going to get there this time, but they're going to be door-to-door going down the back straightaway. Oates is putting the pressure on here as they round turn 3.
Cole Freilich has cleared Jack Painter. That's for the 5th spot. Vargas working really hard, really hurting those rear tires on exit, but it's working for him right now. I think at this point, everyone talks about saving tires, but, you're 35 laps into a run. You're done with that. You're going at this point. You're trying to get everything you can as Kyle Benson's starting to come into the mix a little bit, and if these two leaders start battling anymore, Kendall Carpenter is going to be right there again. This thing's not over yet.
Absolutely. They've sorted it out for now, but you can expect the action to ramp back up probably as soon as we change topics here. Elliot, as the lights do come on, I want to talk about how the track is going to change, and how will that affect how these drivers change this? As Jonathan Oates now looks to the outside, like I called it. As soon as we change topics, he goes right back on the attack here. Oates trying to use the outside here with the impending darkness here. He's going to wrap the top side and confidently move that 73 car up to the point there, and we'll clear Vargas going down off into one. New leader, the 73.
Yeah, I mean, he saw what Vargas did to him as he was trying to work the bottom. Carpenter is now going to fall victim to the same thing. He's going to try to work himself out as Vargas. Looks like he's just going to try to get the top to work. I said top's going to be your better way to pass because it's so hard to make a move work on the bottom, as Oates is going to start to set sail now. But to your point, when the lights go down, when the lights come on and the sun goes down and this track starts to really grip up, you'd think that these guys have a lot more grip, but really what they're doing is just sawing through the rear tires, really obliterating the rear tires because they have so much grip. So you can already see that Vargas is starting to lose the rears a bit, but the speeds will still pick up ever so slightly. So they're going to be working a little bit harder in the cockpit, but we'll have much faster laps, and they'll have much better grip with the front of the car. It just won't really feel the same with the rear.
Something to keep on top of all night long here as temperatures go down and the racing action heats up here. Carpenter looking to the outside now of Ryan Vargas, and all this fighting has brought the 25 of Kyle Benson right to Carpenter's back bumper here. Will we see him make a move here soon if this battle for the second spot ever gets sorted out? And Cole Freilich has been brought back into the mix too. You've really got that top six there starting to put a little bit of a gap back to on the pack here. You've got the top six led by obviously Jonathan Oates, who's got a little bit of a gap here, but we can attribute that to the second place very heated battle that's happening. Then you've got a little bit of a gap back to the 08 of Dante Fergale, and then it's another stack up there with the 63 of Henry Kalhoff and Joshua Chin there in the 93. So we've got action starting to look like got little packs and factions here. But Kendall Carpenter is going to move himself into that second place position as Vargas continues to slip here as the temperatures cool down, Elliot.
Yeah, we're already starting to run up on lap traffic. The 56 of Marcus Vanderlee and the 23 of Jonah Malashik are right in front of these guys. Oates has already gone around the 56, but now everyone else is trying to displace him, and Jonah Malashik not too far ahead, and Emery Spence another 7 or 8 seconds up the way. So lap traffic coming into play. Cole Freilich sending it to the outside of Vargas. Vargas sent it into one really hard. You can just see how hard these guys are trying to work through the corner. Vargas wanted to be clear. He was not. Freilich going to try to use this outside lane, and they're going to take these lappers 3 wide. Very, very dicey moves. But Freilich trying to make up some ground and get up towards Carpenter as Jack Painter lurks in the background.
Tough but aggressive and clean racing here in the OSRL Premier Series as Cole Freilich continues to work over that 26 of Ryan Vargas, and the 23's around, the 25's in it. Oh, that's everyone up there in the top 5's involved. Cole Freilich's in it, the 25 of Kyle Benson, two very heavy hitters guys who have been factors in the top 5 all night long. They're going to get sent around here on lap number 45. Elliot, this has just thrown that top 5 into frenzy.
Yeah, I can't quite blame Jonah for where he is. Kyle Benson just needed to be a little bit more patient. I'm not sure if maybe he got hit by Freilich to kind of run over Malashik or what happened there, but all of those guys just kind of connected together, created a chain, and as soon as you lift up the rear bumper of someone else, all of you are just kind of stuck. We'll watch it back here. It looks like the 23 is just not really getting through the corner. Oh, he stopped on exit. The 25 just nowhere to go. Yeah, man, you can't put anything on Kyle Benson for that one. That is frustrating.
If I can interrupt here, guys, Malashik came on the radio and said that his spotter said that he got a call to the outside, so he slowed up hit the brakes. Kyle Benson ran right into the back of him.
The iRacing spotter strikes again, and the different the sensing of it can be interesting there. I guess I can see where the call came from a certain angle. The 25 can be considered to his outside, but I can kind of understand it, and it's really unfortunate to have the 25 get caught up in it with the 15 of Cole Freilich. Those are two two top contenders here who've been in the race all night long. So those guys are going to have to repair some damage and get some slice and dice back up through this field here. We've got about 100 laps to do it as we've got Jack Painters on board here looking on at this incident. Well, you can see everybody's cars. These cars are built like wedges. There was 3 cars, the 23, the 25, and the 15, all up in the air on 2 or less tires at any given point in that wreck. That wasn't a very fast wreck as it was coming off the corners, Elliot, but it was one that's definitely going to render some damage here as we get farther on into the night.
Yeah, that's just frustrating for Kyle Benson, though. I mean, had what really looked like a top 3 or 5 car right there, and he's probably got the most damage out of it with rear end and front end. We haven't talked about him too much as far as how many starts he's made, but this is actually his second start of the season. He started Sebring last week, and unfortunate hitch here tonight. And Cole Freilich, it's just gone bad to worse at these short tracks. He was the one that was excited for all these short tracks, felt like he had pace and really wanted to get to these, and they have not worked out for him at all. He got absolutely beat up at Kern, got stuck in a situation where he got put on the outside wall, and had a lot of damage from that one. And I don't even know that he really finished the race. He finished many laps down, but he comes here with a lot of hope and looking like another really solid top 5 run. He was running about the top 10 at Kern as well, and unfortunately, here tonight gets wrapped up in something. Fortunately, it's only a third of the way through, so it's a lot earlier than well, it's about the same time as what happened at Kern, but it's a lot less damage, it looks like, done to the 15. Didn't have to hit pit road. He had significant damage when we were at Kern, but we'll have to see how he battles back from that. Doesn't look like these guys really... It looks like just Kyle Benson hit pit road from that, so we'll restack. Jonathan Oates, still your leader. Choose the outside lane. Kendall Carpenter in second. Ryan Vargas, Jack Painter, Joshua Chin, your top 5. How about Joshua Chin making his way up there? We thought we'd name him. We'd talk about him pretty soon here.
Yep, started in the 8th position there. He's been quietly hanging around this this lead group there, and now that they're re-racked and stacked, he's got him square in the crosshairs. As the pace car dives onto pit road here, Jonathan Oates will lead him to the green flag. We are racing once again, and he gets a good jump as they head off into 1.
And Carpenter tried to spin tires, but was able to manage it that time, knew exactly what he was getting into. He drove it off into turn 1 to make sure he's clear of Jack Painter, and he slides him coming off of turn 2, really trying to get the most out of that car. And it kind of checks up Jack Painter and puts him at the clutches of Ryan Vargas, and now Kendall's going into the corner really hard again. I'm not sure if maybe something's a little bit wrong with that car. He has no rear tires on it right now.
Nobody elected to come down pit road that last time. Or, well, actually, everybody elected to come down pit road. I apologize there. I had the wrong data. As the 97 gets into the wall there and gets backed up into the, is that the 93 of Joshua Chin? We were just talking about him. He got backed up by the 97, and he's going backwards. Cole Freilich, with that damaged right rear fender, is on the attack. He is back up into the top 6.
That's a 43 of Bryden Lindauer in the black car stuck in the outside lane, and that's Harry Grindell to his inside now that got checked up from Painter getting up into the wall, and now Painter's getting all messed up, and now Lindauer into the back of Freilich. Freilich is just getting used up out there. We've got a yellow, I think, towards the back of the field, but I think that's warranted for Freilich. I think he's ready to take another little break and be like, "Hey guys, like I'm just trying to get through this thing, man. I was looking at the championship in this one, and now I'm just trying to survive these things."
Yeah, Cole Freilich's been square in the middle of all the action here. As we'll take you back for a look at the cause of this caution. I believe it's the 7 of Wesley Person got a little bit of a help going around here to bring out the third yellow of the night. You can see the contact there. He smacked the wall there coming off of 2 and then gathers it back up. Oh, he did get a lot of help there. It appears from I believe that's the 52 of Nolan Sanford, gave him a little bit of a left rear quarter panel tap to send him around to bring out our third caution of the night here on lap number 55.
Yeah, and that really all started from when they all started catching the wall. You can see the 7's already in the wall, but they catch the wall in front of them, and look at that massive checkup, and they all just kind of divide. That's the 23 again in the middle of it, the 25 also in the middle of it. So these guys literally just involved in the last incident all kind of get checked up by, I'm not sure who that was in front of them, but just an accordion effect there. And unfortunately, the 7 of Wesley Person is the recipient of the overall damage.
Let's go to our pit reporter, Aiden DuPont. Aiden, what's the chatter after all this frenzy of action here on the restart?
Tempers are flaring. A lot of anger about wrecks happening in the back of the pack. We've got a couple guys coming down pit road. That is Brian Lindauer, in the 43, as well as Kyle Benson, who was involved in an earlier wreck. Marcus Vanderlee in the 56 is also pitting. Only 3 guys coming down. But watch out for people to get much more aggressive, because not much give and take is happening. People are going to try and take. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Aiden. Absolutely. A lot of takes starting to happen here as the lights continue to shine brighter here as the sun goes down in Richmond. And that's just a product, Elliot, of short track racing. We've seen these guys racing side by side all night long. At some point, there's going to be a little bit of a snap where you're not going to have as much patience for the other guy when you're side by side with him in the corner.
Well, I'll tell you who's not interested in a snap is Kendall Carpenter. I think he just wants to get the tires back under him. I don't know what it is about the 20 and fresh tires, but that car is just ill handling. It looks like a monster every time he tries to get on the throttle. So I'll have to see how he handles this restart. But I mean, exit, entry, everything about it, that thing was just sliding. So nighttime might not be the right time for Kendall Carpenter, and maybe that opens Cole Freilich's eyes a little bit. But for now, Jonathan Oates leads, Kendall Carpenter second, Ryan Vargas third, Josh Chin moved up to fourth after Painter slipped to sixth. Chad Stearns rounds out your top 5 as we get ever closer to the halfway point in this race. And go back to strategy a little bit that we talked about a while ago. It looks like these guys are pretty much set on a 50 and 100 scenario where we just pit twice here and call it done. It looks like they can go about 50 plus laps. So everyone pitted right around that lap 50 mark. I assume they'll all come back down at 100 if there's a caution around that point. If not, we'll just have to see how it works out. But I'm assuming a one-stopper from here on out.
Thank you for that strategy report there, Elliot. And yeah, you saw it like with guys like Vargas, who towards the back end of that long green flag run that they had, where the tires were starting to fall off, for at least it looked like Ryan Vargas's tires were falling off considerably more than everyone else's. So can't really blame. I mean, on these short tracks, once one person comes down, you all have to kind of come down and get those tires. So it's such an advantage to have that fresh rubber here, as we've got them double filed back up here. We'll see if Kendall Carpenter can keep the wheels underneath them here when they get back green here, and we'll see if the pressures and temps in those tires got back up to give him that grip. But for the meantime, he's going to have to follow the 73 of Jonathan Oates, who will lead them down into the start-finish line. Oates doesn't get as good of a jump, while Carpenter is going to be hanging right on his left side here as they head off into 2x2.
Carpenter doesn't really give it too much juice down in there. I'm sure that's just from the fact that he knows how much that car's kind of sliding around, maybe adjusting the brake bias, seeing what he can do as he sends it down into threes, keeping pace with them. Not really seeing the car move around too much. Much better run here, short on this short run, as Josh Chin's not too far back either, and Vargas has slipped back to fourth now.
A little bit of a wiggle out of that 20 car coming off of turn 4 there. Keep an eye on that as the pressures go up in these tires and he gets a little bit more grip, but they've single filed out for now all the way back to around about the 9th position, where Steven Gibson and Chris Pervalarkis are side by side, and everyone else behind them is 2x2 as well, looking like a marching formation here as the 21 starts to take the fight right to the 70 of Harry Grindell here. Thinks better of it and will fall right back into the clutches of the 49 of Pervalarkis.
Yeah, we don't really talk about Grindell as one of our short track aces, but he really is. He's just a consistent top 10 guy at these short tracks. He might not be fast everywhere, but he definitely shines at these short tracks. Kendall Carpenter, the inside of Jonathan Oates. Really tight racing up here, but Kendall Carpenter knows how important that clean air is, and he wants it right now.
Carpenter dives to the inside there. The 73 rips that out, that middle lane there. Going to wrap the top side. Still going to have advantage when they come across the line here, but Carpenter is not going away. They're going to be side by side once again. The 20 on the bottom side, the 73 right in the middle, pinching down on the door, not letting him get a run off, and that's really preventing Carpenter from moving forward, Elliott, as they fire off once again side by side.
Yeah, I told you that outside lane is super useful. You can see the 20 pushes up at the exit of the corner because he's just trying to get as much power as he can down. And unfortunately, you just have nowhere to go. Your car just wants to go to the outside wall, but the 73 is out there. So you can't just go out there and hit him. It'll actually affect you a lot more than it'll affect him. So you just gotta manage it. And unfortunately, it hurts you in trying to complete that pass, as Vargas is actually starting to put a little bit of a nose towards Josh Chin. Chin's just kind of watching this, trying to see what works out, assuming Carpenter's probably going to get the run and get out of here. Chin looks like he's kind of looking to the outside, trying to think differently of how he can get around the 73 when it's all complete.
These guys are this 2x2 racing has brought the other two, being Josh Chin and Ryan Vargas, right to them, as they're going to go side by side as well. 2x2 here for the top 4 spots. Still, once again, Carpenter and Oates side by side with Vargas and Chin right in tow there. And Elliott, at what point does Carpenter and now Vargas here, when he's on the bottom, at what point, as we see Carpenter muscles his way to the lead here? I was just getting ready to ask, at what point do you give up that fight on the inside because it's just going to be hurting your tires as much?
Well, I think that's how. I think you just clear the guy, and now Oates has to do it, and Carpenter's going to pinch him really hard down. But Oates, honestly, much better drive through 1 and 2 than we've seen from pretty much anybody else. Carpenter sails it off into 3. Oates keeps it pinned to the bottom, but Carpenter, big run off of turn 4. Nope, give it. Oates kind of got a big run back, but actually it looks like he may have lifted out of it, gave up a little bit. Oates will settle for second at the time. Josh Chin now to his outside, and how about, oh, we got a yellow on track.
Another yellow on the track. The 56 of Marcus Vanderlee is around. He has towed immediately to pit road. I believe there's another couple cars back there involved, or at least in the vicinity. The 25 of Kyle Benson once again can't seem to get away from it all.
I think that's just a product of once you're back there, you're just kind of stuck in it. You can see he's actually behind all this that's going on, and the 7 and 56 just kind of get together.
Yeah, that's what it is. The 7 just comes down, and he's pinching him hard, trying to protect the position, just like we saw for the fight for the lead. But the 56 comes up the track, and unfortunately, it ends up with nose damage right into the outside wall. So heavy contact for Marcus Vanderlee. That will undoubtedly end his evening here, as everyone's hit pit road, Elliott. We're on lap number 70. Everybody's coming for fresh rubber.
Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised by this. I really didn't anticipate a 20-lap run to turn into everybody hitting pit road. Yeah. So we're not even at the halfway point. I guess I guess they're all content to make 3 pit stops. I believe the 41 may have missed his box or was on pit road repairing damage and is now left. But interesting call. And it looks like everyone's just going to get 4 tires. Nothing weird, nothing different. And Kendall Carpenter leaves pit road. Josh Chin right behind him. Looks like, unfortunately, Jonathan Oates is on the bad end of that. Loses a couple spots, but very interesting to see them all pit here. Maybe they think it's going to start to go green, and they don't want to be on old tires.
Well, let's go to Aiden DuPont, see if we can get a closer look at the situation. Aiden, what are you hearing?
Just a lot of discussion about that last wreck. The number 7 of Wesley Person came on the radio, said that, yep, his bad. I do not envy the 56 of Marcus Vanderlee. He has been caught up in, I counted 3 accidents so far. Mo Perry, who disconnected, not sure what the reason is, but he is back. And 2 guys stayed out. That is Triff Davis in the 96 and Henry Kauhoff.
Copy that, Aiden. Thank you very much for that report here, as we get them all back under the control of the pace car once again. We can see the 41 there of Mo Perry. There it is, Mo Perry. Like you were saying, that is Mo Perry trying to get one of his laps back, repairing damage there. So everyone's back under the control of the pace car, but we've got new faces at the front. Elliot, Triff Davis and Henry Kohlhoff have stayed out on those older tires. What's this going to look like when we get back to racing?
Yeah, I think that's just going to come down to tire sets at that point. Maybe these guys think they can save one. Obviously, Triff really has nothing to lose. Remember, he started 9th, was involved in the first incident, kind of running over the back of the 31, and kind of self-spun there, so took a set earlier. So this is his way of kind of getting back and not burning another set. He's already a set behind everybody, so I don't really blame him for this strategy. And Henry Kohlhoff, he's been right around the top 10, so I think for him it's just, let's see what this feels like, and might as well try it now halfway through the race as opposed to 20 laps ago. So he knows he's on old tires, but maybe, if he only drops back to like 10th or 15th throughout the run, everybody pits again around 100, he's got an extra set over everybody else, and he may gain some track position out of it. If he doesn't, then, no harm, no foul. He tried something, but 20 laps with what I'd say probably like 15 or 14 green flag laps, I think it's worth a shot.
These guys are going to go for it, and can't really blame them here as we are about to hit. When we take the green flag, it'll be the halfway mark of the race. So it's really starting to be crunch time, and these guys know it. They are going to the front here, and they're going to be holding off all these hungry guys on those newer tires here as we get set to go racing once again. Pace car is off. Triff Davis is going to lead them out to the green flag as, wow, Henry gets loose there down on the inside, pulling a Kendall Carpenter, who quickly gets overtaken, and he's going to be going backward immediately. And here comes Joshua Chin on the inside. Move him to the lead here with the 96 of Triff Davis, trying to hold him off. I don't think there's going to be anything doing, though. Solidly, Joshua Chin moves into that front position here as those old tires are slipping back and slipping back fast.
I think here, guys. Sorry about that. Restart is under review.
Yeah, I think Henry had a little bit more of an issue than just those old tires. He slipped all the way back now, not even going to try to do anything with that. Triff Davis still kind of holding on around the top 5.
We've got a spin in the back. That's the 43 of Bryden Lindauer's around. Caution is out. That's smack in the middle of the pack there. The 43 is sitting right in the racing groove there. How no one else was involved in this, I have absolutely no idea. Everybody manages to escape, I believe, pretty much unharmed, other than the 43, who obviously got turned. But, I mean, smack in the middle of the action, how he was able to not take extensive damage from this is, wow. Okay, we see him getting into the back of the 31 of Chad Stearns. And you see a little bit of a contact there with, I'm not sure who that was. We're going to have to go back and take a look. But it's very impressive that wreck was not bigger than what it was.
I think Chad Stearns needs a bumper sticker on his car that says, "I go into the corner easy. Please don't hit me." That's the second time someone's nearly ran him over and spun themselves because of it. The Triff Davis is the first one that did it. That's running 5th now. But I think out of all this, the most interesting point that we kind of missed completely is that Josh Chin's now your leader, and Jonathan Oates follows him up in 2nd. Kendall Carpenter down to 3rd, but Josh Chin has moved his way from 8th all the way to the lead now. At least through that restart.
He has leapfrogged that entire top pack pretty much to get him to this top spot as we take another look at the restart here. And we will have to see what's going to be under review. I believe it's going to be a lane change potential from the 20 or the 26, perhaps. I'm going to have to go back and look and confer with with race control on that one. But yeah, you saw those older tires absolutely taking a beating there from Henry Kohlhoff when he tries to put the power down. Elliot.
Yeah, I mean, there's I don't think you can really blame Kendall for what he's doing. Like, there's a guy spinning tires in front of you. You got to try to get around him, and Kendall knows he has pace. So, I if they want to call it a lane change, I don't really know if that's worth it. I think that's more on. Kohlhoff for spinning the tires there and not really been able to get going. But he did the right thing, too. He went right to the bottom and kind of gave a lane. Carpenter just assumed he'd kind of hold his lane. So I can't fault either guys for the decision that they made there.
Let's go back to the radio. AD, what are you hearing about? Is there anything about that restart under review?
Nothing about the restart itself. I'm hearing a lot of anger's the wrong word for it. I'd say a couple people ticked off about just maybe the tire strategy from Kalhoff and the wrecks that continue to happen in the mid-pack. I mean, tempers are rising in the front. Everybody wants to get the lead. In the mid-pack, everybody's beating and banging. And in the back, everybody is just trying to save their stuff. And what I'm hearing the most on the radio is just people tapping each other, maybe somebody sending somebody up the racetrack and apologizing for it.
Thanks for that, Aiden. Yeah, I mean, you absolutely want to when somebody moves somebody, you absolutely want to hear a yeah, sorry, that was on me. Thanks for not being too upset about it. Here as we get set for 1 to green here, they're going to double file back up. The field's going to be under the control of Joshua Chin when they roll off into one next time by.
Listen, that's just short tracks, man. I mean, they're going to get mad about each other and what everyone's doing. So it's just something they're all going to have to deal with. I think something to point out, though, we have not seen Cole Freilich. I believe he pitted that last time by. He's going to line up 24th here, trying to make his way back up towards the front, maybe pulling some type of different strategy and going to stay out a little bit later when these guys all pit around lap 100.
He was on pit road a lot that the prior caution. We'll have to see if he got a lot of that damage repaired here as we go back. Green flag racing here. Joshua Chin's going to lead him across the line here. He will have a comfortable advantage and leave the 26 and the 73 of Jonathan Oates to deal and duel for that second place position here. But Joshua Chin solely in possession of that lead, Elliot.
Yeah, and Oates has been really good on the bottom, but I just don't think he's where he wants to be. I think he wants to be up on the top, and Vargas is going to do anything he can to try to manage, and Oates is going to kind of force Vargas into a mistake. I've noticed a lot of that. These guys kind of come off turn forward, slide a little bit more than they need to, and that guy on the outside catches the wall, and they're like, yep, thank you very much, clear. That's kind of what just happened there. Vargas is going to try to close off the spot to Kendall and refocus on trying to take back Jonathan Oates, but Oates now comfortably in second as Joshua Chin looks to drive away.
It is a physical game just as much as it is a mental game in this one. A little bit of a intentional fishtail there will secure you that position, and you can't blame the guy. You got to get back out of the gas to prevent from running over the person in front of you there as Jonathan Oates squarely and solidly holds that second place position. But roundabouts the top 7 or so have single filed out, and we're going to go all the way back to the 12th position where Chris Pervolarikis is smack in the middle of a hornet's nest that has not settled itself since the drop of the green flag once again.
Yeah, and just ahead of that, Triff Davis, who's still kind of free-falling on those old tires, but Justin Knudsen is up to 8th from 26th. I mean, he did phenomenal at Kern, and once again, showing that just because you start at the back doesn't mean you can't work your way up towards the front a little bit. Now up comfortably inside the top 10, and back behind those guys a little bit. Cole Freilich worked his way up to 19th after starting 24th there.
There are absolutely two different strategies for getting to the front. You either start there or you start not there. And either way, the idea is to get up to the front. So that's Justin Knudsen trying to invoke the ladder strategy on that one here as we continue to look at this hornet's nest back here for around about the 12th spot with the 33 of Isaac Johnson, the 48 of Gavin Newton, and that's Triff Davis trying to hold them all off there. Elliot, he's not falling. I mean, well, I say that, and the 33 of Isaac Johnson clearly and easily clears him going down the back. But I honestly expected Triff to fall back a little bit faster than this. I'm surprised and impressed that he's able to at least contend with these guys as much as he is.
Yeah, and he's getting some solid runs off the corner. You can see he's kind of getting bullied. He got bullied by Isaac, who kind of cleared himself off Triff's nose. And, Freilich in contact with, I don't know who that was at the back. Doesn't look like it's going to result in a yellow. It will, actually.
That's the 08 of Dante Fergale. We talked about him earlier on. He was having a nice run inside the top 10 before this flurry of cautions is kicked off, so he will unfortunately sustain. That's a fair amount of damage there to the left front of that vehicle. We'll go back and look at the replay here to see exactly what happened, but an unfortunate incident for Dante's night as he was trying to get back up there in the top 10, and you could see the 12. That was the 12 car of Emery Spence, your sponsor provisional for tonight's event, got loose and collected the 15 of Cole Freilich, like you said. But it looks like Dante got the worst end of it.
Yeah, I think that's just Emery's trying to get too much off the corner. Freilich's just there, and they kind of collect each other. And then, unfortunately, like you said, Dante Fergali had a really good run going up inside the top 10 at one point. Probably pitted around when Freilich did to get some fresh tires and go off strategy. Is unfortunately just involved in this, and hopefully it's not too much damage, but just bad positioning, and we'll have to see how he can work that out for the rest of the race.
We've got cars on pit road trying to repair that damage. Let's go down to our pit reporter. AD, what are you hearing?
Over the radio, I am hearing some choice words from Cole Freilich. He had a fire lit under him ever since the last restart, and he let Emery Spence have it over the radio. On pit road was the 96 of Triff Davis. We got Jeff Yenish in the number 4 car, and Emery Spence also on pit road. I don't believe anybody else has made their way down just yet, but let me check, see if Cole Freilich made his way down. Nope, Freilich stayed out. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Aiden. Yeah, interesting note, Triff Davis comes down, gets some fresh rubber. So, Elliot, there's 22 laps on the tires of everyone else in this event. Triff finally abandons that off strategy there, comes to get new tires. How will this 22 lap advantage help him as the laps start to wind down here? We're almost to 50 to go.
I think he has two options. I assume a lot of these guys are still planning to pit around lap 100 or 120. If Triff is basically going to try to make this last until the end of the race, he has two options. He can sit here and run really, really careful and just not pit again, or he can run through those tires, gain as many positions as he can, and then end up pitting in whatever position he ends up getting up to. But right now, it hasn't really worked for someone like Cole Freilich, who we know has top 10 speed, and we can assume that Triff has top 10 speed since he started up there. So we'll have to see how he wants to attack this. But it looks like right now that plan is probably to run out nearly the rest of this race on that set of tires, which may put him at about a 5 or 6 lap disadvantage if these guys all do pit into the next yellow. But that shouldn't hurt him as bad as that 20 lap disadvantage that he just had.
Well, grip continues to go up as the track cools down in the nighttime, so hopefully that older tire disadvantage kind of goes away for Triff when the strategy inevitably flips and everybody comes back down pit road here. But we will have to see as everyone has double filed back up. Joshua Chin is still your leader. He's got Jonathan Oates to his inside. Behind him, Ryan Vargas, Kendall Carpenter, the usual suspects. Chad Stearns, Jack Painter, all top 10 guys. And then Harry Grindell, the token Brit in the field. Started 16th, has now worked his way up to 7th here. Slowly been making his way forward. Look for Harry to continue marching forward in this one as the laps tick away. But for now, action right back up at the front. Pace cars off their way. Once again, we are racing back in Richmond.
Yeah, just go back to Harry Grindell really quick. Those guys right around the outskirts of the top 10, Grindell, Knuckson, and Sanford and others, those are some very good short track guys. I think I saw Gibson up there, but he may have hit pit road or something. So I don't see his name up there anymore, but those are all really solid short trackers. And they're starting to make their presence known as we get further on in this race.
Boy, Kendall Carpenter took offense to being in 4th spot. He is now on the attack on Jonathan Oates outside for that 2nd place position. Going side by side down into 3. Carpenter on the outside, pinning Oates down on the bottom. Oates, I believe, is going to slide up and back into... Yeah, Carpenter's going to clear him easily. There's this one, and immediately set to work on the 93 of Joshua Chin. The 20 car is on the march, Elliot.
Yeah, and going back to Gibson real quick, I actually just disconnected due to packet loss. Unfortunate internet issue for him. Was running right up inside the top 10 and had a really good run going. Has previously won on short tracks and won Kern last season. unfortunately not going to be able to finish this one out. But Kendall Carpenter on the march. Josh Chin, who has kind of inherited this lead after one of the restarts, he's not really looked back, and unfortunately for him, on his rearview mirror is very full now.
Definitely, that 20 car is on the move, trying to bring the 73 and the 26 right along with them there. That 4-car group has pulled a little bit of a gap on the dueling pair of the 97 of Jack Painter. Elliot, your pick to win this one, and the 31 of Chad Stearns. They have just been going at it ever since the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Chad Stearns has just not backed down. He has been very good, very consistent on that bottom of the track, and just right around the top 5 pestering these guys. And yeah, I thought Jack Painter was going to be a little bit more of a factor. Started up in 3rd, was really good at Kern, having started back about 8th or so and drove his way up into the top 3. But tonight, a little bit of the opposite. Started up in the top 3 and has just kind of slunk back to about 6th or 7th and has run about there all night. So unfortunate for Jack Painter to not be involved in the battle for this win, but he wasn't really involved in the battle for the win at Kern until about 20 laps to go. So we'll have to see how this strategy works out and how the rest of the night progresses. But going back to Cole Freilich, hasn't progressed. We can see him right here, still up about 14th, 15th spot, trying to work over, I believe that's Henry Kaloof to his inside. That's for 13th after restarting 15th here.
Yeah, this is now the battle. Everyone else is single filed out here, but you've got the 49 of Chris Pervolarikis and the 63 of Henry Koloff there, as Freilich takes a little bit of a contact from the 96 of Triff Davis, who is on that newer tire. So Triff moving his way up through this pack. He restarted way back in like the 20 or something position. He's already made it up into the latter, the mid part of the teen spots here as he sets to work, and looking to take it 3 wide here as they go down into 3. Fires it off into 3, and he will claim that position over Henry Koloff.
I say that's kind of what was needed, as we got a big battle for the lead going on. Josh Chin under all kinds of attack from the top and the bottom. Kendall Carpenter is side by side with them, but now Jonathan Oates is in the picture. Ryan Vargas is just licking his chops, waiting for one of these guys to make a mistake and put himself into this mix. But yeah, Triff Davis starting to make some progress back there. Finally took those guys 3 wide after watching the bottleneck in front of them, as we've got a big battle for the 2nd spot and for the lead.
Yeah, these 4 cars here, you throw a blanket underneath them, and they have been putting on a show all night long, and here they come again for what feels like round 12 in this one. Carpenter down on the bottom side. With he's got the 73 of Jonathan Oates once again to his outside there, pinching him down off to limit that run off the corners. They'll still be door to door as they fire off into 1. And Josh Chin has got to be looking in his rearview mirror, or not. He's probably looking right outside the front windshield, trying to drive away from these guys, but nothing doing here, as Kendall Carpenter looks like he's going to clear the 73 and slide right up in between them there, and set his sights on the 93 of Joshua Chin for that lead spot.
Yeah, I don't think he really needs to be looking out the rearview mirror. I think that 8-post mirror does enough for him, because that 20 is filling it right now. Josh Chin just trying to stay ahead of these guys, but that's what I love about the competition in the OSRL. These guys are all over each other, especially for these top 4 spots. You can see Oates, who had a ton of pace early on, has now dropped back to 3rd. Vargas, who we saw struggle, looks like he may have one of the best cars out of the top 4. And the leader, Joshua Chin, who's been around that 7th or 8th place all night long, is starting to show about why he was there. Kendall Carpenter all over the back bumper of the 93. I think when you look at this 4, the 20 is probably the fastest. The 73 and 26 are dueling for pretty much the 2nd fastest car, and Josh Chin might be on the opposite end of this spectrum, looking like he's just trying to hold these guys off.
But Joshua Chin's got one advantage that the other guys do not have. He has the lead position there. As you see, once again, the 73 looking to the outside of the 20 car. He's going to have him pinned down a little bit, but Kendall fires it off in there, suddenly makes it Joshua Chin's problem there. They're going to be at least hanging onto his quarter panel there when they come across the stripe. Still position advantage to the 93 of Joshua Chin, but Carpenter not making it easy on him, as here comes the 73 of Jonathan Oates. They're going to be 3 wide off of the corner. A little bit of a squeeze there up into the 20 car. They'll go side by side. Josh Chin once again gets away with it, but Elliot, this action is as hot as it's been all night long.
Yeah, I just said the 20 is the fastest car. I think Jonathan Oates knows exactly where he can put his car and exactly how fast he can run it. I don't know that he has the best car, but I think he has the best idea of what it can do in all circumstances. He can roll the outside by the wall. He can drive it down into turn 3 as hard as he can like that. And he just does things that no one else is really comfortable with. Carpenter's going to look to the inside. They're going to make it 3 wide. And Carpenter's going to try to clear them. They're all going to make contact. They all kind of saved it one way or another. Carpenter really aggressive there, and he looks like he might hit pit road, or he's just trying to be a good driver and give the spot back. I think that's just him paying respects to Jonathan Oates, saying, yeah, I was a bit of an idiot there and drove it in way over my head, but all that really does is give Josh Shin a big smile as Chad Stearns finds his way in second, and Josh Shin drives away with the lead. And now here comes Triff Davis on those fresh tires, making his way into the top 5.
Boy, we took our eyes off of Triff Davis for about 7 laps, and you blink, and suddenly he's here challenging the top contenders of the night with Elliott. Like I said, those 22-lap fresher tires, they do have an effect here as the laps wind down. Triff Davis positioning himself beautifully towards the end of this one. He's going to try and clear the 26 of Ryan Vargas. They'll be door-to-door when they go down the back straightaway. But, yeah, Triff Davis putting himself in a prime position to make a run at this lead here as the laps wind down.
Yeah, I said he had 2 options, and I think he's on option C, which is just go up there and get the lead at this point. I thought he was going to take it easy and just see how this race wanted to play out. No, he went forward. He has gained back all the track position and more. This is the highest up he's been in relevance to everybody else. The last time he was up here, he was on significantly older tires. Now he's the one on freshest tires, and depending on fuel, he might be the only one that can make it the rest of the way. So if this continues to play in his hand, he might be the best set, as now he sets sights on Jonathan Oates for that 3rd spot. But right now, absolutely in the wheelhouse is Triff Davis.
He has positioned himself perfectly here as this lead group starts to come back to the rear bumper of Joshua Chin. We saw that big gap that he'd opened up after Carpenter and Vargas had their incident there. But the 31 of Chad Stearns, who was the big beneficiary of all of that, has brought it right back to his back bumper. Chad Stearns making a case for the lead position here late on in this one, trying to get anything he can to get to the inside or outside of that 93 car. We've seen it work on both sides. How will Chad Stearns attack the 93?
Well, you say the outside. I've been watching Chad for a while. Every single pass he's made has pretty much been on the inside of the track. He hasn't left that yellow line, and I don't think he's going to anytime soon. He is dedicated to it, and it's the only thing that's really keeping him in this fight right now, and he knows what he's doing. But the question is he going to be able to clear Josh Shin doing it? He definitely seems to be able to save better tire than everybody else. He's also going to have to fend off Triff Davis, who now looks side by side with the 73 of Jonathan Oates. But I think Chad Stearns is in a really good spot for a podium. If he can just hold it together, try to clear Josh Shin as early as possible, and then maybe fend off Triff Davis. But right now, just getting next to Josh Shin is going to be a hard enough battle.
He was up next to him there off of corner exit there. But Josh Chin had the run, as you can see him going right back to the middle. He knows where it's going to be. He knows where to position his car to make it the hardest on Stearns to make that pass, parking it up there in that middle lane, trying to wrap the top and maintain as much speed as he can down the front straightaways. And for now, it has been holding that 31 of Chad Stearns at bay as the ever-looming Triff Davis continues to work over Jonathan Oates. Like you said, Elliott, I think while Oates might not have had the fastest car of the evening prior to that scuffle with Kendall Carpenter, he definitely knows where to put it to maximize the runs that he has on those tires, and it has been showing as he is continuing to hold up Triff Davis on those newer tires.
I was about to say, this is what Triff needs. He needs to get to the inside of the 31. If he can do that, he'll get around these guys because he's starting to run through those tires. And right now, I think Oates is still just too powerful to really make Triff, to really give Triff a chance to go up there and get Josh Shin. But Triff now struggling on the bottom just to clear the 31. And now Oates is going to clear them both using that top lane. We talked about that early on in the show, that top lane would come in and really start to work, and now it really, really is where you can run almost up by the wall and make something out of it, as they're both starting to run up on Josh Shin here.
27 laps to go in this one, and once again you can throw a blanket on the top 4 cars, but it's the top 4 looks a little different from how it did about 20 laps ago. Josh Chin leading the way, and as we see, wow, the 96 had to check up heavy to compensate for the run that the 73 of Jonathan Oates has got. He is now down to the inside of Josh Chin. He sees that 96 of Triff Davis with those newer tires. He knows go time is now, and he is trying to take the fight to that 93 and wrench that lead away from him, as they will be side by side coming off the corner.
Yeah, to your point, I think Oates needs the lead, and if he doesn't get it, Triff's going to be able to find a way around. It's only a matter of time. I don't know that the tires have really equaled out here yet. It looks like Oates and Triff are about the same pace, but Chin is definitely holding these two up. They can both go much harder, much faster than Chin can right now. Unfortunately, Chad Stern seems to be the product that's starting to fall back. He just doesn't really have the grip, but still a great run for Chad Stearns. We haven't talked about him a whole lot tonight. Again, started right around 7th, 8th, just like Josh Chin, but has been right around this top 5 all night. Him and the 93 both kind of making their way up here and falling into some luck with some restarts and everything, but both right here in the battle for the win.
Now, here's an interesting spot. You talked about, that was Chad Stearns. Triff Davis now trying to work that outside lane there as he thought about it. He thought about it. You could see it right there. He backed out of that big run that he had going down into 3, and he's going to continue to let the 73 and the 93 do battle and burn their stuff up and save those newer tires, as they will be side by side, door banging down into 1, Elliot.
He has a grip. I just think he's a little worried. I would love to watch him go up to the 3rd lane, but I think he doesn't want to put himself in a precarious spot. He knows if the 73 and 93 make some contact, he's just a sitting duck all the way out there, and you can see just how tight those guys are. And then he knows if he lets a 31 really get under him and potentially clear him, that he's just in a really bad spot. But right there, if he went to the top, I genuinely feel like he'd get the run through the middle of the corner, because the 93 and 73 are literally hitting each other. They're probably having to lift out of it throughout the corners, so I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't have the confidence to really drive up in there, but I think after a while, you've either got to set these guys 3 wide, or you got to try to go all the way to the top here, because they're not going to give you the bottom to go around.
He's going to have to grow some confidence here soon, as it looks like Jonathan Oates has all but completed the pass here. He will have the position off of turn 2, move that 73 up to the point, and immediately the 96 jumps on the 93 of Josh Chin. He will go to the bottom and try and clear. It looks like he's going to have it immediately. No, he will not get clear, as he's going to continue to stick to the bottom of the racetrack. But Jonathan Oates, we've talked about how good he is at positioning his car, parks it right there on the yellow line and halts that advance from the 96. This is going to be a battle for the ages, Elliot, as we get under 20 to go.
And Triff has the tires. He's just got to be patient. Maybe, put some, take the heat back out of him or whatever. He may have overworked him here trying to get around all these guys, but he's probably kicking himself a bit, because he had Oates cleared at one point and unfortunately just couldn't find his way around Chin. And he's really found a way to work 1 and 2 to his advantage. I want to see him go back to that line. He's doing it in 3 and 4, where he runs the top and then kind of hooks it down, kind of Bristol style. You go in there, you run the top, and you just kind of arc it down really hard and get on the corner on the bottom. Here he is. He's going to try to 1 and 2, and you can see Jonathan Oates is going to play it against him now. He's just going to run his line. And, I mean, you can't really aero block in these cars, but for all intents and purposes, it's kind of what he's doing. It's just making sure the 96 can't go where he knows the car is fast. 96 is going to have to grab something out of the corner and get some type of advantage over the 73.
This is an absolute masterclass by Jonathan Oates of holding up the fresher tires of Triff Davis, running exactly where he wants to run and not allowing him to position that car where he can maximize that run down the back, as we see him draw even, and he's going to fire it down to the inside of the 73. How will Jonathan Oates counter this? He's going to pinch him down off of exit. They're going to be side by side there. Advantage still Oates, but that 96 is there. There's no ignoring him now. They're going to be door to door banging off of 2, Elliot.
I think that's a big deal in 1 and 2. If you can draw even, you're good. He's got a lot of pace into 3, but Oates sends it about as far as we've ever seen Oates send it into 3. These two driving away from Josh Chin and Chad Stearns, who are now side by side for third, but I don't think the 96 is going to be able to do it on the bottom. He may have to rework his strategy and try to find a way around the top of the 73. We're approaching lap traffic. That might be the great equalizer. Who can work their way through traffic the best, or can someone create a pick out of the lap traffic in front of them?
That's the 23 of Jonah Malashak here as the leaders continue to draw closer and closer. The still side-by-side advantage still Jonathan Oates here as he will clear the 96 as Triff tucks back in line. Kind of looks to the outside now. It looked like Elliot Triff was firing it off into one specifically a lot harder than maybe he was having to. Maybe those tires have heated up now and he's going to have to take a second, reset, cool them off, and then reset and go back on the attack.
He still has the yellows out, and it's all going to go away. I was going to say he has a lot of an advantage on corner exit, but unfortunately, we're not going to watch this one play out. It's a 31 of Stearns. I believe that was probably from...
There was contact there.
Yeah.
The 93 and the 31 were side by side with a lap car. It was just outside of both a broadcast view and my view in sim, so I didn't really get a good look at it, but it looked like there was a bit of a squeeze, and it's looking like it's going to end up with the 31 around looking at that outside wall there. Oh, they all tried to hold on to it there. Yeah, it's the 93 was trying to stay up off of the lap car, and unfortunately, in doing that, he went right down into the 31. So an unfortunate incident for two incredibly strong cars, as now everyone's going to dive on a pit road, AD. What are you hearing about this? This has got to be the last stop where everybody comes and gets fresh rubber.
Of course. I'm wondering if it's going to be a two-tire stop or a four-tire stop. If anybody wants to pull the trigger on 2. Again, like you said, every single person is coming down pit road right now. I hear a little chatter on the radio. Vargas keyed up and was very, very disappointed with Kendall Carpenter about the contact. Maybe, what was that, 20 laps ago or so? Vargas had some wheel damage. That is why he was falling through the field so fast. Other than that, not too much chatter. The 23, I thought he was going to catch some flack for that, but really did not. So we're going to watch the race off pit road, and back up to you guys.
Thanks for that report, AD. Harry frickin' Grindel from the 16th spot is now up. He's going to be 4th. Wait, no, is he dropping back? Did he get is that a pit road penalty?
I have no clue. If it was a pit road penalty, I think he would have come right back down, right?
I'm not seeing it, but he is dropping to the back. I'm not seeing a black flag on anything, but he came off of pit road in about the 4th position. But he's hanging on there slowly, making his way down the front straightaway. So a feel-good story of somebody who had quietly and methodically worked their way up here. It looks like it's all gone wrong here in the late stages.
He keyed up and said, yeah, it was a speeding penalty. That's a very, very tough break for Harry Grindel right there.
Absolutely. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, Jeff Yinich from 24th, he will restart, looks like about 4th or 5th. So we still have a feel-good story up here. It's just in the 4 car instead of in the 70 of Harry Grindel.
Boy, we have got action all over this place all night long, and it's going to come down to around about a 8 or 7 lap shootout. The field's going to be in control of Jonathan Oates. I really was loving that battle between Oates and the 96 of Shrift Davis. But this caution has brought everybody back to them and evened out all the tires. So we're going to have a soft reset here. And it's brought that 20 car, who is really seemed like out of this top group here, has seemed like he's had the most speed to be able to contend with Jonathan Oates, who has been owning this joint pretty much. If he hasn't been in the lead all night long, but he's certainly had the pace and he's looked like he's had the confidence in that car, Elliot, all night long in this one. And it's going to be who can wrestle it away from Oates in the closing laps.
Yeah, really frustrating run for Chad Stearns and Joshua Chin. They're both going to be around 20th here, both with damage, having to stop and get stuff repaired. But you want to talk about, you were excited for the 96 and 73. I don't know what we're about to see out of Kendall Carpenter, or we haven't seen what Jeff Yinich can do at all tonight. I wouldn't exactly count out this being exciting. The 96 still has a shot. He could always put a bumper to Jonathan Oates. Oates is a part-timer. We'll see what we get.
Pace car dives onto pit road. The field's in the control of Jonathan Oates. He'll stack him up in the Geico restart zone and then get away with an easy shot here, as that's going to leave Jeff Yinich on the outside looking for that second place position. They're going to be 3 wide going down into 1. Jeff Yinich way up the racetrack, but he's going to have that second place position as the 20 and the 96 are going to be doing battle for that third spot, as we've got a car around in the back. That's the 20, or rather that's the 70 of Harry Grindell. A bad night just continues to get worse in the closing laps of this, and we will probably be going to overtime, guys.
Yeah, kind of unexpected for this lead. They've usually been pretty calm on these short tracks. We've had a few cautions tonight, but I don't know that we've had overtime yet this season, and we're about to see it. Obviously, fuel and everything doesn't matter. We just got tires, and Vargas is a little bit damaged, but everyone in your top 4 is here for it. But Jeff Yinich all the way up to second. We're going to have to see how good he gets through the gears. My only worry here is that this actually benefits Triff Davis, and I'll tell you why. Jonathan Oates is probably going to pick the top. Jeff Yinich is going to start on the bottom with Kendall Carpenter in third. As we go back and rewatch this, I believe that's the 02 actually gets spun, self-spins off the restart there. Just, again, we saw that with Kendall Carpenter, not exactly a self-spin from him, but they're trying to get up through the gears, and there's a lot of wheel spin on brand new fresh tires without the heat and the temp or the pressures build up. So they're not exactly the easiest to handle, but go back and look at looks like Grindell, kind of same thing, just self spin, light tap to the inside wall, and he'll get it right and get going again. No harm, no foul. But back to it, Jonathan Oates will probably pick the top. Jeff Yinich will restart second. We haven't seen him restart on the front row or really up front besides that last yellow. So we'll have to see how he gets through those gears. And second place has been the hardest spot to restart. Kendall Carpenter, what do you do going into turn 1? We already saw he went to the inside of the 96. Does he do it again? Do we get to see something interesting here?
Well, Jonathan Oates played that restart about as perfectly as you can. Stacked the field up. Obviously didn't brake check them, but waited a little bit, let that field stack, hesitate and think about it, and then by the time they finished, by the time the thought registered, Oates was already away and had at least a 1 car length advantage over that second lane there. So now that that's in their mind, the games that Oates can play with that power of starting in that first position, how does he handle having this field back restacked up again behind him, because he had played it perfectly on that last one.
Yeah, I think you just got to do the opposite of what you did here. He's got to maybe go a little bit later. I don't know. You obviously have a lot of options. The restart zone is pretty big. You can go in the middle, you can go at the beginning, you can go at the end. There's somewhere in between all those spots, so a lot of room to kind of play with. But so far, we've really only seen a couple restarts where second place can even stay side by side with the leaders. So I think Oates is pretty content with this. I think if he can clear these guys, he knows that he's got a fast enough piece and the racecraft to be able to kind of keep these guys behind him. But these guys have bumpers, and they might use them. We don't really know how aggressive anyone's going to be. I think Kendall's probably the one that needs to be the easiest, having come in here with a big points lead, and literally none of these guys are racing him for points. I think Jack Painter and Cole Freilich are the next guys kind of trying to get points out of this back in 6th and 7th. But I think for us at home, Kendall Carpenter's probably one of the more aggressive guys out here, and he wants to win as bad as anyone else. It doesn't really matter if he's the points leader or not. He might just see that as a bank that he can get ahead and withdraw from if he needs to, if he ends up getting wrecked here. So we'll have to see how aggressive he wants to be and if he's going to make it 3 wide going into turn 1.
When we interviewed Kendall Carpenter there at the end of, I believe it was his second win back in week 2, he had 2 straight wins on that one. He did not have a whole lot of confidence. You could hear it in his voice. He was a little wary of coming to these short tracks. He really prefers those bigger tracks here. So we'll have to see how much he wants this one as the pace car dives on the pit road. Oates Not as big of a checkup there as he gets going. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Oates checked up. Heavy contact. He took out Vargas, the 20 of Kendall Carpenter. All your heavy hitters have been collected in this one, and it's going to hand the lead of the race to Jeff Yenish, who started way back in the 24th position.
I think he missed a gear. That's the only thing I can think is he either restarted in second and missed third, or he restarted in first and missed. Something happened there because he launched so well, and then the car just stopped. And I don't know who would be smiling. I mean, Cole Freilich is fourth. Like, and Kendall Carpenter's down in 17th. This is
the field has been flipped. Elliot,
really big launch and then nothing. I mean, the car shut off. Like he had to have missed a gear, and unfortunately, Kendall is destroyed. They're wrecking really hard still at the 70, but yeah, Vargas, who had a minute and a half of damage at one point, Kendall's now killed. There's a lot of damaged cars out there, and Triff Davis and Jeff Yenish are sitting here like, how do I get this win? Because, I mean, they're in the catbird seat, and we talk about, I mentioned Jack Painter. Jack Painter's right there, and so is Cole Freilich, but we can watch this from Isaac Johnson's point of view. Wow. Barely avoided the 20. Still got run over a little bit, but no harm, no foul.
He keeps it straight there in that one. Let's go to the radio. AD, what are you hearing after a huge wreck here in overtime?
It is absolute chaos over the radio, guys. I hear screaming, most of it negative, but I hear Cole Freilich on the radio thanking every single deity he possibly can for making it through that wreck. Oh my goodness, as we see a car flip in the replay. Just anger everywhere from ARCA braking to rolling down the track to I'm stumbling over myself trying to make sense of all the chaos over the radio.
It's absolute pandemonium, Aiden. Thanks for that one. Yeah, we're just beside ourselves right there along with you. We can't even believe it. But two guys I bet who can't believe it even more than us: the 4 of Jeff Yenish and the 9 of Triff Davis, who, like we mentioned previously, Jeff started way back in the 24th place spot out of a field of 30 cars. And Triff Davis, who started in the 9th position, proved he had speed, but got off on a little off strategy here. Reset. He has claimed that 2nd position very handily, but they've got 2 guys behind them in Jack Painter and Cole Freilich, who have consistently shown incredible speed on these short tracks here. Haven't really been up there for contending for that number 1 spot, but they've been solidly round about the 5th position. How will these guys up here in the top lane or in the top row handle those guys who are absolutely hungry for wins? They've had the speed all season, that being the 97 of Painter and the 15 of Freilich. They want this win just as bad as anybody. How do these guys up front hold these guys off?
Well, I've been talking about, Jack Painter and Cole Freilich being the guys that need points over Kendall Carpenter. Jeff Yenish is literally 5th in points. He has as much to lose here as anybody else. Mr. Consistent that started 24th and now finds himself potentially with a win in front of him. Triff Davis is here for fun. I think this is his first start on the season, and he is here to just try to win races. I think he's on a partial schedule as well this season and doesn't really have anything specific to go for. So everybody has a lot to lose. Triff Davis has just everything to gain. So even Nolan Sanford's 8th in points. Henry Kaloof is up inside the top 15 in points. So all these guys with a lot to lose and an equal amount to gain. But Kendall Carpenter all the way back at 18th. I don't know. Do you take it easy and do you just kind of get your top 5 and get out of here after you just saw the leader miss a shift and cause something? Or do you try to go hard and you try to make something out of this and get yourself a win and maximize points tonight, knowing that this is potentially your one opportunity. Kendall Carpenter is going to have a bad night.
John Daniels just put something in the chat, and I have to highlight it. He back in 15th, John Daniels been having a relatively quiet night, but he said in chat, "I've got Vargas, Oates, Carpenter, and Gibson all behind me." what, like it just in utter disbelief, and I can't really blame him on that one. It's he's got some fast cars behind him, but like how do you wind up there in that situation? Only through the course of a parking lot like that one. Absolutely crazy happenings here late in this event here, the River City 150 in the OSRL Premier Series. We've got the 1 to green. The field is double filed back up in the control of one Jeff Yenish, who once again, just like everyone else, elects to restart on that outside lane there. He will have that run coming off the corner to try and get clear. But the 96 of Triff Davis equally as hungry. This is absolutely going to be a barn burner, Elliot.
Yeah, John Daniels will do you one better. Last season's champion, Joshua Chin, behind all those guys that you just named. So, good luck, bud. But to Jeff Yenish, just don't miss a gear. And, I mean, you might have this, but Triff Davis is going to be aggressive here. I'm really excited to see what this 96 does. The 4 didn't get a good start last time. Let's see what he does here.
Pace car dives on a pit road, ideally for the final time here. The 4 of Jeff Yenish is away. He's going to have a 2, 3, maybe 4 car length lead over the 96, who is under fire from the 15 of Cole Freilich. They're going to be side by side with Jeff Yenish and the 4 scampering away down the back.
Sleeping is an understatement. Yenish was not. He was going. And now Freilich battling to the outside of the 96. The 96 just trying to get clear. Can't. Freilich might have an opportunity to go get him, but we've got another yellow.
Caution is out once again on the speedway. That's the 51 and the 73 of Jonathan Oates has been involved in a wreck there. You can see him trying to get that thing righted once again. So heavily the favorite, I would argue, all night long gets wrapped up in one. Just one that was a good night. Just goes in about as sour as you can get here late on in this one.
I mean, that was just a case of everybody trying to go in a place that didn't exist. You see Vargas is in that. Oates, Kendall Carpenter went around the outside. Wow. That was 4 wide at Richmond, which is not something that we're very much used to. And I don't know how many green-white checkers we have here. It looks like we're on our last one with the 3rd one here. So this is make or break right here. But 4 wide, the 51 just kind of gets shoved up the hill, and everyone just kind of piles in as they do in that situation. But it gained Carpenter about 5 or 6 spots. He's up to 14th now. Not going to lose too much if he can get himself up around the top 10.
Definitely Kendall Carpenter trying to go into damage mode or damage control at this point. Try and protect as much of that lead as he can in that one. Aiden, we've just it's all lost here. What's going on the radio, AD?
People are confused, people are fed up, people are ready for this race to be over. Vargas is still asking over the radio what the heck happened. He was a few cars back, did not see the 51, I believe, just get loose and wash up the track. Yeah, just for the most part, people are ready for this one to be over in the back of the pack. Up towards the front, people are a little quieter. They're locked in.
And you have to be. Thanks for that. Thanks for that report, AD. You have to be locked in up at the front here. This is the 3rd of 3 green-white checkers coming up. It's going to be the last attempt to get any more positions if you can. And for Jeff Yenish, it's going to be the last time that it's going to be the last opportunity he has to hold off Cole Freilich, who has made his way into that 2nd place position. Elliot, how are we feeling about how they'll line up this go around with Freilich now in the 2nd spot?
Well, I don't know what Jeff Yenish does. He launched about as soon as he possibly could. I don't know if that's a mistake, because if he stacks them... Well, I guess what happens here is if he tries to stack them, he just hopes that they just draw a yellow on each other. And then he doesn't need to race anybody but Cole Freilich into turn 1. And if he can just clear Freilich into 1 and the yellow comes out, he's good. I guess that's the mindset. At least that's where I'd be, considering he launched so early. Or he just tries to do it again and just launches as early as humanly possible and catches them all sleeping. But I think either way, the 2nd place driver has really been at a disadvantage pretty much all night. And if Yenish can just go and get through the gears cleanly, he'll be smooth sailing and gone. And honestly, with how these last 2 restarts have gone, he might get that yellow before we even get around to turn 3.
You are absolutely right. Cautions have bred cautions, and it is proving to be the case once again in this one late on. It's absolutely just come down to a brawl, not even a shootout, an absolute brawl for this one here on a short track Thursday night. Thank you so much for watching with all of us here on the Split Second Broadcasting Network. One more time, we're going to stack them back up. The field's in the control of one Jeff Yenish in the 4-car with Cole Freilich to his inside, who has been hungry for a win, has had speed all season long, looking for that win. He will be on the inside. The 97 of Jack Painter is going to line up on the outside of row number 2 with the 96 of Triff Davis, who we've covered extensively in the latter part of this race. All 4 of these guys with a shot to win it. Who is going to come out on top here? Pace car dives on a pit road. Yenish got a little bit of an advantage here. Nose out front, stacks him up there. Nothing doing. It doesn't look as we've got a car spinning down in the back. The 4-car of Yenish is going to clear down to the inside. We're going to stay green. Oh, the 15 just cleans out the 97. Move the 96 into the third lane, into the second spot. Rather, they're going to come back around for the one final time. Kendall Carpenter has wrecked down the back straightaway. Doesn't matter. The 4-car of Jeff Yenish from the 24th starting spot is going to win the River City 150.
We're still on the last lap, Brittle. Yenish to the bottom.
Goodness.
The 96 is still trying to get there. This isn't over. Triff Davis might have it going down into turn 3.
Well, the 96 just cleans out the 4. Yenish is done. Triff Davis pulls an Austin Dillon and will win here in Richmond. I apologize for the errant call. What has happened? I thought it was the last lap, and it got even crazier on the next one that actually was the last lap.
You may have just commentator cursed Jeff Yenish, but that is something that I am assuming they'll want to review. But Yenish did everything right tonight.
Admins are already talking about reviewing that. Nobody is happy about that, gentlemen. I think everybody's going to need a cigarette after this one.
Yeah, I don't smoke, and I might need one. Jeff Yenish has already disconnected. He didn't even make it to turn 1. I'm at a loss for words.
Your winner is not doing burnouts. And I am trying to see. Cole Freilich ended up 6th. Kendall Carpenter's honestly still the big loser there. He got turned. I'm not sure if we can pull a replay up of that, but he was the one that was turned with on the last lap, basically, and with no coming back. He's going to end up 19th, just ahead of John Daniels and Jeff Yenish. Jeff ended up a lap down. I think he may have just quit out as soon as he got turned into turn 3. I can't quite blame him. I mean, he went down in the corner and no one lifted behind him. So here's that incident. Yeah, it's Jack Painter on the outside, and then they're all 4 wide again. Isaac Johnson. Like, it's not really anybody's individual fault. Wrong place, wrong time for Kendall Carpenter, just trying to get through the end of the race and get to the end there. Nearly had that drive alive. I mean, you look at where a lot of these guys finish. Isaac Johnson was 13th, Stephen Gibson 12th. It's like Jack Painter still finished 10th. Kendall Carpenter is right around that 10th spot. And here is Triff Davis driving it down and just did not want to be denied tonight. Worked really hard.
He cleaned him out. He cleaned him out. There's no other way to describe it.
He worked really hard, really clean racing with Jonathan Oates early on, and I thought we were going to get a great battle for the last 20 or so laps. And I guess that wasn't on the cards when the white flag came out. I thought he'd get there, maybe rough him up, but drove it in significantly harder than he probably needed to.
AD, you've got an ear to the ground there. Are you hearing anything over the radio? I see race control queuing up.
I heard the official call, gentlemen. Triff Davis has been disqualified, and we got Henry Kalhoff with the W, the second across the line.
Unbelievable. Henry Kalhoff brings it home. He will be declared your winner here in Richmond tonight in an absolute barn burner of the last couple laps.
I think that's the only way to describe it, a barn burner.
I have lost the ability to speak, apparently. This is absolutely wild to me. We've got guys down in the waiting room, so we'll bring them in right now. We're going to start with Bryden Lindauer, who I believe will be credited with a third place finish. Bryden, take us through those last couple laps there and at what has happened.
I think my guess is as good as yours. Just the whole goal of those last few restarts was just to not be the wreck and just get through it. And, thankfully we did that. I didn't think I'd be finishing third and talking to you guys, but here I am.
Well, it ain't over till it's over, as baseball legend Yogi Berra once said. Take us through your evening. A relatively quiet night, to be honest with you. At one point, you were around on the back straightaway. So, how are you able to recover and then get back up here for this third place finish?
Yeah, I was off sequence for a little bit there. I was thinking maybe we were going to run long, so I came down, tried to top off with fuel and, maybe be the first guy with enough fuel to make it to the end. Then we had a caution, so I kind of just got filtered to the back. And, after that long run towards the end, I was able to pick off a few guys. I made some mistakes in the beginning, turned some people, so I got to say sorry to them. I don't exactly know who they were, but after a couple of those cautions, we found ourselves in the top 10, and then that crazy ending put us here in P3. So glad to bring it home top 3, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, to still be credited with a third place finish is incredibly remarkable after the night that you had up and down all night long. Congratulations are absolutely in order. How was the track? How was the drive? Were you able to handle all the power, the short tracks? We saw a lot of people, especially on newer tires, were having trouble keeping the cars underneath them. You said you washed up into a couple people? Was that the cause of that?
Yeah, I think more so just diving a little bit too deep was the cause of that. But coming out of turn 2, it's pretty loose. Even coming down the backstretch, if you're pedal to the floor, it can try to walk out on you. But 3 and 4, it's not too bad. 1 and 2, exited 2 for sure is the sketchy part of it. But just lucked out there at the end, missed all those crashes, and thankful to finish. That's for sure.
Definitely, man. Well, once again, congratulations on your third place finish. Thank you so much for talking to us here at the end of this event. Do you have anybody to thank before we let you go? Do you have anybody to thank for your third place run here tonight?
Well, thank you to you guys for having me. Thanks to Oates and all the admins for running the league. It's a lot of fun, and glad to get my first top 3. So thanks again, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your night.
You as well, sir. Go enjoy your third place finish. That was Bryden Lindauer, your third place finisher. And now we will bring in Nolan Sanford, your second place finisher. Elliot, take it away.
Well, Nolan, probably not how you anticipated getting it, but do you want to talk us through that last restart, maybe the last couple of restarts if you got the time, and explain to us exactly what you were thinking as you were coming off going into turn 3, probably the most there.
The last few restarts is I was just gonna take a 5th. I was just gonna move on because I shouldn't have been up there anyway after missing the big one. But when I went into 3 on that last lap, I felt it coming and it happened. And then it's all right, I'm not gonna door him. I'm not gonna hit him. I'm just gonna try to drag race. And I got just a little bit loose and it killed me. But it was still awesome to finish like that.
And how exactly did you guys kind of combat tonight? I mean, we saw a lot of different little strategies, but you were running kind of mid-pack around 13th to 15th for a good portion of the night. How did you kind of find your way up towards the front? Was it just kind of avoiding the chaos and keeping it smooth, or did you feel like you were starting to get the tires down and kind of understand how to get through the corners towards the end of that race?
With the night hit, it kind of flipped a switch for me because I had 40 seconds of optional at one point, and I pitted and restarted 27. And I just drove through. I missed a couple spins, but after I figured out tires and I had a line going, I was just passing people left and right. And I did get into Isaac in that long run. That kind of killed him. But besides that, I really didn't hit anybody. I just kept it more smooth than everybody else, and it paid off in the end.
So we get a week off, and then we're off to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve and then Dover. How are you feeling about the upcoming weeks? Obviously, this is a good points night for you. Do you think there's something you might have for these guys, or are you just trying to protect the top 5 in points? What's the outlook moving on past Richmond?
I love Montreal. It's probably my favorite road course in the service, so I feel like I'll have a decent run. I say that every year and end up 20th, but Dover, I am not good at all. I struggle there, so that's just going to be protecting top 5 in points. But otherwise, I mean, the rest of the schedule looks pretty good. Dover is the main one I'm worried about right now.
Well, Nolan, looking forward to speaking with you again. Really happy to see you finish tonight in second. Do you have anyone you want to thank for tonight's run?
Nobody I can think. I just I think everybody that runs this league it's so much fun. It's the best league I've ever been a part of. So, but otherwise, that's it.
Yeah, we definitely enjoy coming over here, broadcasting and watching everybody run around here. Great to have you up in the booth tonight. Congrats on second place. Go ahead and enjoy yourself.
All right, thank you.
That was Nolan Sanford, second place finisher, runner up to Henry Kaloof, tonight's winner, and Brittle has him waiting by.
Henry Kalhoff is going to be scored as your winner here tonight. Henry, take us through those last couple laps there. I went back and watched the replay. What was going through your mind when the 4 got absolutely dumped in turn 4? Obviously, you've got Nolan Sanford to your inside, so you're still having a race for that spot. Are you thinking that there's going to be anything coming there at the end that's going to credit you, or are you just happy with your second place spot at that point?
So, going into this race, I mean, kind of a backstory is, after my poor run in Texas, I took a little break from OSRL and, regrouped for Richmond, did some testing, and, figured, if things went my way, top 15 would be great. And, on that last restart, I was just, gonna race 52 respectfully, and, holy cow, sorry, I'm just so emotional right now. I've been kind of bawling my eyes out for the last 5 minutes, but yeah. And I saw the 96 and the 4, and some people who were watching my live stream in our Discord, they were, they saw those 2 get away, and they were like, it's not over. And the 96 sent the 4. I feel bad for 4. He definitely could have had that race won, but and after that, I kind of figured, well, if the 96 is disqualified, I'm going to, put the hammer down and, not lift. So I just can't believe it, man.
Yeah, it's congratulations on your win. That's awesome. You definitely picked a heck of a one to come back to. I'll tell you that much. To take a break like that and then come back and get a win on a short track in this series is absolutely something to be commended for. So congratulations are truly in order here. Throughout the night, we saw lots of guys having trouble keeping the tires underneath them. Obviously, the high power of this car, the low tire pressures, especially on the after pit stops with new tires. How did you manage that and position yourself where you did there for the end?
So it was just kind of a long run. I think a lot of drivers can agree, but anytime we get on the brakes, especially going to turn 3, the car would just kind of turn right into the wall, and I mean it was just kind of bad, to be honest. But I think backing up the entry of the corner and kind of just letting off the throttle really helps. And I mean I didn't think we even have a top 20 car, to be honest. And yeah, so by the way, I also want to apologize to the 7. I got in the back of him early on, and I didn't mean to. It was just he was side by side with someone else, and they both kind of checked up a little bit. So, yeah, and I just can't believe it.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. We're so happy for you up here in the booth. Going forward, Elliot touched on this with our second place finisher. Next week we go up to Montreal. How are you feeling about that one? And well, we certainly hope you'll come back. Like you said, you took a break. We're happy to have you back. We'll hopefully you stick around here. If you do, how are you feeling about Montreal? And then they've also got Dover coming up after that one.
Well, I'm 50-50 on going to Montreal. Let's be honest, I'm terrible at road courses, but I might go to Montreal if you got a short enough field and kind of ride around. And I'll definitely, I think for all the confirmed races, I'll be at Bristol, Iowa, Watkins Glen, and IRP for sure, and probably a few other races. So we'll see what my schedule looks like, and yeah, I can't wait to do more of these races.
Well, man, we will absolutely keep an eye out for you with your name being in that winners column here on the season. Thank you so much for talking to us, Henry. Before we let you go, do you have anybody to thank for your awesome run tonight, man?
I'd like to thank everyone that thanks my small team. I've pretty much built it up from nothing, and I've got a lot of drivers on the team and a lot of supporters. So, and also to my mom and dad for helping me out, through all this, this whole iRacing journey. And I'm hoping all the underdog fans are proud, and hopefully we can back this up at some other races.
Well, I'll tell you, man. As an underdog fan myself, I can say that we are proud of you. It's really cool to see that. So once again, congratulations on your victory here tonight. Thank you so much for talking to us. And go enjoy that win, man.
Yep, thank you. Thank you guys for broadcasting OSRL, and I've been enjoying your broadcasts when I can watch.
Yeah, man. We will continue to put it on if you keep putting on shows like that. Thanks a lot for talking to us, Henry.
Yep, thank you.
That was your winner on the evening, Henry Kalhoff, who will be credited with your first place finish. Boys, you heard how much it means to Henry to win one of these. What does it mean after a race like that?
I think that's that's what we're all here for. At the end of the day, you got some guys that don't really show a lot of emotion, but for Henry, like that's a big deal to get this win. And the way he did it is, maybe it's a little different than most, but a win is a win, and he was there when it counted, and he had to drag race Nolan Sanford. Nolan Sanford really lost this race by a couple hundredths of a second, and that's going to frustrate him for a bit. Maybe he's going to wish that he drove into turn 3 a little bit harder and tried to do something a little bit different. But Henry Kalhoff's going to be your winner here tonight, and it's great to interview someone that it means so much to. A lot of these guys sit here and they win week in and week out, but for Henry, obviously, not sure if it's his first win. We'll have to go back and double check that, but definitely a big one that he's going to remember with how this happened, and obviously had to take a break and come back. We've all kind of been there, I feel like, and to watch him come out on top. He said, I don't even know that I had a top 20 car, but he was around when it counted, and he was definitely around right at the end, and definitely a positive win, and hopefully some positive momentum for him going forward. We talked about him a bit recently, but he's always kind of just been around the top 10, and looking forward to seeing if he can start to turn this into some better momentum and put together some top 5s here too.
AD, your thoughts?
Man, what an absolute barn burner, as we said earlier. I mean, I would have the exact same emotions as our winner over here, even if I'm not the one who crossed the line first. That getting a win in a tough league such as this one means a lot to these iRacers. It was chaotic. It was maybe not the best display of racecraft over here, but I enjoyed it all the same. I had a wonderful time commentating with you gentlemen, and heck, I'm gonna be thinking about this one for a while.
I think we all are. This one's going to stick out in our minds for sure. We put on. You're absolutely right. The OSRL Premier Series put on a heck of a show for us tonight, and we're so glad to be broadcasting it here on the Split Second Broadcasting Network. Looking ahead, like we mentioned to our top finishers, Montreal after an off week next week. Fellas, I wasn't around for the road course at Sebring. What can we expect from that one in this in what we've clearly stated as a very competitive league?
Well, some different guys up front. We might see some other guys come in return. I believe it was Philip Kraus that came out, put on a really good show. Him and Josh Chin drove a great race. We had guys like Jackson Sims, Ryan Vargas run up front. So really clean racing, but some really good battles going on back where I think Henry Kalhoff was involved in a few. Bryden Lindauer was involved in a few. Some of the guys that we interviewed, Harry Grandel, Gavin Newton, some of the guys were involved in some really exciting stuff. So I'm excited to see how they handle that. Sebring was a blast to watch and a blast to broadcast, and looking forward to how they tackle the turns up in Canada.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to a final results rundown after the penalties being handed out. All of our timing and scoring has been incredibly muddled, so we don't want to broadcast any more incorrect information more than I already have over that final lap. So with that, that'll just about wrap it up for all of us here at the Split Second Broadcasting Network. Thank you so much for watching with all of us here on a Thursday night. We will be back in 2 weeks to watch the OSRL Premier Series take on Montreal. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.
Hands in the sky if you got a dream. Learn nothing was blocking me. I was the problem, the only one stopping me. I didn't like it, I had to refocus. Now I'm devoted, I know where I'm going. Controlling emotions, I'm owning the moment. In order to get it, see, you gotta want it. Don't make a living break. Confessions over these 808s. Don't sleep on the key, better stay away. I mean, for heaven's sake, I'ma be the best. Came from the endless, lane walk games, bitch you with the chest. Beating on my chest, trying to get my rest. Watch me while I flex. Every win is a blessing, and every L is a lesson. So when I run into rejection, I know it's only redirection. I see the blessings right beside me. The chances are quite unlikely. I do it like I'm in my Nikes. Don't make excuses, they never excite me. Quitting was never an option.